Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love. Astro Phoenix here, flying into the moment yet again, and radiating love as always. And for this week, we're just going to be doing some daily words. Daily words, some small talk, some simple talks, just a little bit of my observations to help you along, perhaps. And to help myself along, perhaps. Today, I woke up... Well, this morning's been an interesting day, interesting morning. I woke up at 4 something, stayed up till 7, went back to sleep. It just my dreams. I was I time traveled within my dream stuff. It was crazy. And then when I woke up from that aspect, and I was like, well, what is my video going to be about? And the first word that came to mind was vibration. The second word that came to mind was frequency. And this was the image that I had in my head about it. So you can say you have these 2 platforms, right? And we like to think that, when we're ascending, we're going to these different platforms, to these different levels, right? We tend to have that connotation that upper is greater or something like that. Although it doesn't have to be that way. But for the purposes of this video, this metaphor that I'm trying to spin here, we're going to just use that, right? So you can have these different platforms, right? And the goal is to ascend, right? Really, the goal is just to live your life, and you should ascend naturally, right? But the goal is to ascend, right? And your vibe attracts your tribe, right? I feel like there's a lot of people out here that really doubt their own internal wisdom because they don't really have that big of a tribe. They don't have that big of a following. They don't have that many eyes on them. They don't have that much attraction, if you will. Maybe their tribe is a little bit smaller, They're not getting a certain frequency from people, if you will. And here's the thing. The message actually is very simple, even though I'm making it complicated. You don't have to have a lot of followers, a lot of eyes on you. You don't need all the cameras in front of you. You don't need all of these things to impact people and to have a message. Furthermore, just because you have all those things on you doesn't mean that you're spouting the truth either. You can have these platforms, and you can have this platform on the bottom where they have 1 person or 2 or 3 people, and they have that whole platform bumping, right? They got a lot of attention. They got a lot of followers, right? But they could be following some dumbass shit, just to put it bluntly. Then you go up a few other platforms, and there's you. You don't have as many followers. You don't have as many eyes on you. And you're still communicating, of course, with all of the beings within this giant hotel. Let's just say it's a hotel, right? Hot L. Anyways, I channeled something about hotels back when I was in Colorado. Let's just say you're in a hotel and everyone on the bottom floor is bumping, or the top floor, whatever. It doesn't really matter where it is. And then there's you on your floor. Not as bumping. You still have your tribe there, but that's not where the party per se is, right? But you never know. That could be where the truth is. And that can be their truth for them at that moment, wherever they are and stuff like that. But generally what happens within these larger groups of people, and we got to remember, guys, that we do have Saturn that just went retrograde in Aquarius, and we are going into the age of Aquarius. They're going to try and spin this thing to where it's the amount of likes that you have, the amount of followers that you have is going to prove how high your vibration is, or something like that. It's going to prove your worth. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of great people out there that are these truth seekers, that are spreading these actual truth bombs, that do actually have the larger platforms, that do get that sort of attention and stuff like that, that are doing these great things with their platform. But there's also simultaneously a lot of people with these platforms that aren't really spreading the truth, spreading falsities, spreading lies, and they're guiding people in the wrong direction. And generally it's these people to where their followers do a lot of the fighting and the barking for them. Generally that's what happens. They don't even really have to fight. And it's kind of cowardly, honestly, if you ask me. It's kind of cowardly. If there's anything that you get out of this message, it's this, is that it doesn't matter how many people really are on your side, or how many people are in your tribe. So long as you are walking in truth and integrity, you will be walking in a high vibrational state, okay? And then as far as the whole frequency thing, frequency means, I mean, if you think about the word, it's about, how often does something happening. So you're putting that effort in, you're putting the energy in, you're putting in those repetitions. Frequency can go two different ways. You can put in the frequency repetition for things that really align with your heart-centered truth, or you can be putting a lot of time and frequency and reps into things that don't really represent that heart-centered truth, or that higher truth, that inner truth. It could just be something that can get you clout and fame and stuff. Alright? They're going to start pushing a lot of crazy narratives in this age of Aquarius. And now that Saturn has gone retrograde in Aquarius, personal responsibility is about to fall on the individual. It should fall on the individual, but we're going to have to think about it more. That doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to actually remain in integrity. It doesn't necessarily mean that people will have integrity. It just means that their thoughts are going to be plaguing them more about it. And now whether they act on these thoughts, whether they actually process these thoughts and really see what they're trying to tell themselves about standing in integrity when it comes to this Aquarius-like energy, right? We'll see what happens. But a lot of people, we cannot get mad at people who are leading the blind. We can't really, we can get mad at them, but all we can do is be ourselves and to live our life. And we can't get jealous at their platforms either. We can't get jealous, and they're going to try and make us feel jealous too. It's like, oh, look at all these things that I have. Or maybe you're a has-been. Maybe you had a bunch of things and then you lost them, and now you're not a part of the club. You have to ask yourself, what clubs do you really want to be a part of? What clubs do you really want to be a part of? And oftentimes, the bigger the club it is, oftentimes, like even in big clubs, you still have subsects and smaller clubs. So even if you have this giant freaking club of people, and they're all following the same thing, and it's an echo chamber, and a true echo chamber, right? The moment that someone steps out of line of that dialogue, or whatever that club represents, they go after each other like rabid dogs. Instead of actually sitting down and having discussions and conversations with people. Because, hey, we're human. Even though we are ascending, we're still human, right? So, do not worry about what other people have and what you don't have. Just focus on yourself. Focus on your vibration and your frequency, your reps that you're putting in, your integrity. Worry about that. Everything else will take care of itself. And if you find yourself, like I said, within this hotel, and there's like a crazy party bumping on either the top floor or the bottom or the middle or whatever the fuck it is, and you can hear the speakers, you can hear the music, you can hear the people, and then there's just you with your little posse just playing cards, or maybe you're by yourself reading a book. Just embrace that space, because that is what's truly important. I mean, unless that party is like trying to seriously raise the vibration on this planet, then cool, yeah, go ahead and join. That's what I want. But in order to get there, we kind of have to break through the falsities and the sort of security that people get within large groups. It's a false sense of security, because it's like the moment that you make a human mistake, you're kicked out of the club. There's no empathy there. Anyways, y'all take care, stay blessed, and I will see you all very soon. Peace out.